At the 2018 Dakar Rally, Yamaha came out swinging. Their WR 450F was proving itself a worthy contender for the first time in years. We headed to northern France to find out how they're turning a stock Enduro WR 450F into one of the best rally bikes on the planet. The whole process starts with a totally stock WR. They start by stripping the bike completely. From there, the frame has new lugs welded on to hold the tanks, the navigation tower mount is welded onto the headstock, and the standard subframe is cut on the right hand side and reshaped with a slacker angle to make it stronger. They then add braces to the top of the subframe to hold the battery and allow a new seat to fit. The swing arm is then extended by 2.5 centimeters and the stock triple clamp is replaced with a necken unit using a custom fork offset to improve the stability. The custom tank setup is designed by the Drag'on Yamaha team and built by Acerbis in Italy. It's a 4-tank setup with 2 separate switchable fuel pumps, so the front and the rear tanks can be drained separately. The suspension on the customer bike is the standard WR 450F KYB stuff, revalved by the team. In the engine department, they make huge changes. First up is the gearbox, which is replaced with a new, stronger design using the OEM ratios. The piston is all new too, with a stronger design, and the cams are changed for more power. The stock wiring loom is then replaced with a YZ 450F unit, and they replace the ignition with a tunable Get ignition with their own custom map.
My first 5 laps on the bike, straight away getting on it, my nerves, I was really nervous. I was just really quite delicate. Firstly, because Loon Plage, where we went to test the bike, is deep, deep sand. On an enduro bike, on a motocross bike, it's hard work. So I was worried it's gonna be a bigger, heavier bike. Straight away, I got on it and it's powerful. It was really fast. And I got on it thinking I could get up the gears and just be quite smooth, and I couldn't. You had to ride it quite hard in that condition, in the conditions. I was worried, like coming into the corners, I would lose the front. It's something that I've got on, and I really had to figure it out for a while. So it wasn't just swing your leg over. It's just like a big enduro bike or a big motocross bike. It wasn't. It was his own. It was his own creature, I suppose.
Let me tell you this, let me tell you right now, your exquisite kiss still burning. Didn't know I missed this passion in life. Now I'm addicted.
It didn't feel heavy. It just felt stable and planted. Once I got used to that, and once I got used to revving the engine quite hard, which I didn't like. It had a big loud exhaust, it was quite noisy, and I just felt like I was revving it really hard. But as soon as I started changing up the gears and trying to ride it like an enduro bike, as soon as I got that out of my mind and just rode it hard, God, it was a beast, it was a machine, it was a proper weapon, and a massive grin on my face. So the handling of the bike really blew my mind. That was the one thing that stands out against about everything I've ridden. Especially in them conditions. It was leaps and bounds ahead of what I thought it would be. I was very scared of tucking the front, and I've even tried it into some really soft powdery sand. There was some sort of duney bits, and I tried it in them just to go in a bit slower. And yet when you're not on the gas and when you're coming in, it will start being a bit of a plow, and slow you down real quickly. But if you're on the gas and stood up on the bike, God, it's stable and planted in a straight line. The only one time I had in one of the corners where I came in, my arms were pumped up, and the front tucked, but it was like it wasn't quick. It was a slow thing, and it was all because of me, not the bike. It was like riding an enduro bike. No real massive difference from riding my Husqvarna 450 in that tight stuff. I'm sure when you get into a wet woods or a typically Welsh British forestry or something like that, where it's wet and rutty, and you definitely feel the weight. But in them conditions yesterday, and what Dakar throws at you, or big rallies when there is real technical stuff, I'm sure that bike would be a real good tool to be on. So the suspension on that bike was pretty special, I think. For me, I'm a lot heavier than the rider who rode that bike in Dakar, and still it never dived, it was solid. It felt really good in them conditions. I mean, that bike, they do test that bike there in that deep sand. So it was a really solid planted bike, and I was trying to hit the jumps and the bumps, and there's some really, really deep holes that sometimes when you're a little bit tired, your front wheel just goes in. And on an enduro bike, I'm sure I wouldn't have got away with half of what I did on that bike. I've still got a smile now. It's 24 hours after riding the thing, and yeah, I'm still buzzing. It's on a scale of 1 to 10, most exciting bike I've ever rode. Yeah, it's well up there. The bike is, as a complete package, ready to ride Dakar. So it's expensive, but is it, in the massive grand scheme of things, if you're going to try and convert an enduro bike, or if you're serious about rallying, and you're serious about doing the World Championship rallies, or even just international rallies, that is, yeah, why wouldn't you get a proper rally bike? There is only the Yamaha KTM Husqvarna to choose from, and we're yet to try the KTM or Husqvarna, but for me, it's gonna be a tough bike to beat.